something like this before where I read something of mine from a long time ago. We got through it together. We're gonna get through this together. I was tumbling through my email, you know, as you do. And I found a email from somebody, a review of an old thing on a fiction press long ago that I've since put on private because I really don't want this out there. But I found it, and it's bad. It's bad. Disclaimer, this was back when I was in my I think I'm grungy and edgy phase, but I'm not. I'm more like a fairy than I am a punk anything. It's bad. MySpace, music playing, gun background with a flower coming out of it looking like a metaphorical sign for who knows what kind of person. I wasn't very good at it. It's bad. I'm a soft person and my heart is like shaped in a rainbow, so being hardcore and grungy and edgy was not for me. My writings got a lot better. Published April 8th, 2010. Just remember that date before you compare it to anything that I currently write. It's called blood fiction. It's bad. I'm not kidding you. No, this can't be real. This is fiction. Horrible blood-covered fiction. Blood fiction. But it's real. And now there's a real reason to be afraid of the dark. I was edgy, man. I was like I was edgy. Here we go. What the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? Melly sprawled on the ground, blood dripping from her scalp and lips quivering. Her right foot was twisted in the wrong direction, and her left knee was bearing the bone from underneath and the veins moving slightly, muscle bared out in the open, and her left arm was nearly clawed to the bone. Holy crap! It's bad. That was a little bit of a run-on sentence. To anyone it would seem like she would be dead, cold to the world, but Melly was very alive. Heart racing and bright jade eyes wide against the dark, where the men who had kidnapped her stood, guns no longer pointed at her. Shadows! Damn it! The oldest man growled, slinging the strap of his rifle over his shoulder and fixing his glasses, wire-rimmed, thin glass glasses that laid on his sharp nose that flashed Melly in the eyes as he looked down at her. Get the girl. We've got to get the girl. We've got to get to the base now. What the fuck was that? Palms scratched against the moist dirt underneath her. Melly yanked her body away from the smaller man as he came towards her. Panic, adrenaline, everyone overpowered the intent. Panic, adrenaline, everyone overpowered the intense pain in her leg and foot. Everyone overpowered. Escaping was the only thing she wanted to do. A foot could heal, scratches could be... escaping was the only thing she wanted to do. A foot could heal, scratches could be stitched up. Whatever it took to get away, Melly took it, but it never seemed to be enough. I've learned that run-on sentences aren't edgy. They're just irritating. Bark met her back. Like tree bark? Or did I name somebody Bark? Bark met her back as the hilt of a gun met her forehead. Shadows filled her head as she slowly slipped back into the darkness she had always been afraid of. That was all in italics, by the way. 7:15 a.m. Tuesday, 3 days ago. Mel, come on. Melly, Marion, May, get your lazy ass up this moment. We're gonna sidetrack. My pen name used to be Melly May. I don't know why. It was just a really fun name that I liked, that I made up completely. A bolt shot the girl from the small mattress and her body came in contact with the hard, cold bamboo floor. I wanted to be descriptive. Ow! 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 Melly whimpered. However, what was shocking was she was still surprised when she woke up this way. Every day since her father left, Joshua and Melly were left in the worn-down home by themselves, and for some reason Joshua had this intent to keep the girl in school, so she would stay up most of the night. I can't stop giggling over ow! So she would stay up most of the night studying for tests that she had hated, nearly devoured every book she could so that she could get good grades, and woke up to her 17-year-old brother shaking her as if the house was burning down. I'm up, she grumbled, grabbing the bed frame to hoist herself back up. Oh, she fell off. That's right, we fell off the bed, because edgy teen, not like other girls. We fall off beds in this house. I've never fallen off a bed in my life, actually. Okay, when I was like 8, my brother and I had bunk beds. Well, I mean, he had bunk beds, and I used to annoy the shit out of him by climbing into the top bunk bed to sleep because I felt more comfortable with more people in my room. And I've always been paranoid about like ghosts and stuff. And anyway, long story short, I fell out of the bed once. I woke up when I hit the ground. I can see that. There's toast on the table. Joshua seemed to be gone before the words went through Melly's ears. Scrambling to her knees. You just grabbed the bed frame to hoist yourself up. Why are you scrambling to your knees? Scrambling to her knees, Melly attempted to see straight rather than the tired blur that her life seemed to be in now. Once on her feet, Melly yanked her long chestnut locks into a scrunchie and rubbed her jade eyes in the mirror. I have blue eyes. I've always wanted green eyes. I don't know why. If I had green eyes, I'd want blue eyes. Heck, now I'm obsessed with discoloring. Heck, now I really want brown eyes. I just want anything that I don't have. So, first world problems? Debating makeup, staring at the small makeup box that she'd scavenged from a yard sale, the green-eyed girl pushed it aside and wiped off the textbook letters off of her sleeping cheeks. It never surprised her to see the words on her face in the morning, seeing as she usually fell asleep studying. So different from other girls. I've never fallen asleep on a textbook. It is not comfy. Melly made sure to stuff everything in her bag and sling it out the door before digging through her... What? A whole lot just happened in one sentence. Melly made sure to stuff everything in her bag and sling it out the door before digging through her laundry basket of clean clothes. She's got a really weird, list of things to do in the morning. And I wrote this character. Pulling on her sneakers and Sharpie-covered jeans. Remember, edgelord. Melly looked to the photos on her desk. On more time before pulling her t-shirt over her head and heading out of her room. On her desk, there were multiple pictures of her and Joshua, mostly ones their friends took. Joshua attempting to swing higher than her, kicking each other while trying to see who could hang on the monkey bars the longest. A couple of them making ridiculous faces into the camera, one of him threatening her only homecoming date, and one of her and him wrestling over the TV remote. Oh, what the fuck was that? I was smarter than a few. I didn't date anyone that was inappropriate. I'm looking at you, Hollywood and Netflix, and your Hollywoodized teenage dating scenes. But there was a specific one in the back of all the photo frames that made Melly want to scream and cry every time. Inside a black plastic frame was a man in a lab coat with his long black hair pulled into a low ponytail and rubber gloves on his hands. All one sentence. Those hands ruffling the dark hair of two children grinning, wide, silly grins. at the camera with a well-made house in the background. That man was once Melly's father. As if he like stopped midway through it. You know, just stopped. He was like, I quit. Not a dad no more. You guys are all on your own. Oh man. Let's see where this goes. Stuffing her face with toast and orange juice. Oh, okay. You can't do both. You can't do both. Melly waved to her brother who was outside fixing up the only car they owned. Their father, you know, they make all those memes about white women naming their children like Kate Whiteland and Carson Newson, like 16 letters more than it needs to be, like almost battling Norwegian names of cities. Shit you not. Their father, Krystopher May. Christopher May. I was one of those white girls when I was little trying to write names because I wanted them to stand out. Had left them when Melly was 8 without rhyme or reason. He just I called it. Man was once Melly's father, up and quit that job. He just up and left the 2 children sleeping in the house in the middle of the night. The girl had always been afraid of the dark, but ever since her father left, the fear had gotten worse and she slept with her battery-powered reading lamp on. These run-on sentences are gonna kill me. It's bad. It wasn't the dark that scared her. It was what happened in the dark. Mel, watch it! Waking up from her glazed over mind, Melly looked up to Sarah. Okay, I have a problem. One of my favorite cousin, her name is Sarah. Every book I've ever written, except for Amongst Small Things, there's always been a Sarah. Actually, there might be a Sarah in the book. That, you know, Sarah was the main character, and now my newest project that I'm sending out query letters right now, there's a Sarah in it. She's one of the main characters. I love you, Sarah. I hope you enjoy being a main character in a lot of my stories. If not, I'm sorry. I just use her name a lot. Sarah saved her from running smack dab into a stop sign. What? We had just left the driveway. Now Melly was awake, looking around and trying to get back any dignity she had left. You don't have any. You stuffed orange juice and toast into your face at the same time. That was until her eyes caught those behind thin-rimmed glasses that were pushed up on a sharp nose and reflected a harsh flash of light in the Melly's eyes. Oh, creeper. He's totally checking you out, Sarah scowled, throwing an arm through Melly's. Oh, it's bad. I meant to put my arms like this, and Sarah wrapped her arms through it because we got a whole discuss about your best friend when she throws her arm through yours. It's just a little concerning. Ow! And forcing her friend around the corner. Cold shivered down her spine. Melly had a feeling that he wasn't checking her out, but debating if she was worth it or not. But worth what? Bum, bum, bum. Now we get a page break. I'll be fine, Sarah. I've got to make dinner anyway. Enforcing those stereotypes. Melly called out to her friend, who shrugged and pushed off onto the sidewalk again. Joshua would be home soon. It was Melly's turn to make dinner. Putting her key in the lock, there was a sudden jolt down her back that brought back a worry that she couldn't explain. Shiver running up and down her arm. Just one arm. Melly couldn't shake this feeling she wasn't alone. Nervously checking around her, Melly found only shadows. But even the shadows were frightening, and she couldn't explain it. Her throat was closing up as she found herself watching the shadows shudder around her. Melly's adrenaline exploded as she jiggled her keys in the lock and pushed the door open and slammed it shut behind her. Did all of that. Adrenaline exploded, jiggled her keys in the lock, pushed the door open and slammed it shut. I'm leaving that in. What the fuck was that? Did all 5 of those things in one sentence. I had a problem. Was it her imagination? Or had the shadows been crawling towards her? No, it was imaginary. Some freakish fear messing with her head. But it seemed so real. The shadows swallowing the ground as it crept and stretched towards her. Oh, you're being irrational, Melly, she reminded herself. Oh, you're not nearly as irrational as you need to be, Melly, Mary, and May. I think alliteration is fun, so I'm sorry if you have a problem with it. Melly looked up only to watch a black hood cascade over her head. A lot of things happened very short. I was like, to the point, straight to the point. Melly looked up only to watch a black hood cascade over her head and rough hands near strangling her. Shock set in before she even realized what had happened. Her hands shook before thrashing about and grabbing for anything to swing in the dark that had her eyes. First there was the lamp, and her book bag she swung and smashed into the hands, but they only tightened and shook. Let me go! Only then did something collide with her head, and darkness swallowed her. Ow! I really don't want to read chapter 2. By the way, I only have 3 chapters of this. I don't know where anything else is. I don't know if there was more to this. I don't even remember. I don't remember writing this. I don't, but I found it, and I know that's mine because those are, and I know it's me because of the characters. Melly, that name I constantly used in high school. I'm not cool. I used it on roleplay sites. I used it as character names. I used it as a pen name. I used it for everything. I don't know why. I still, to this day, a lot of things of mine still have the name Melly on the name tag. It was my name online. It's probably why no one knows about me, because all of my cringy things were under that name. I think I always secretly wanted to know and be like,